welcome sa bahay ko. Manood kayo ng akin live stream. Okay, I'm feeling good tonight because earlier today I'm taking care of my son. And while I was doing that with my wife, I'm not trying to take the credit from her, but while I'm doing that, we saw a pretty good movie on TV, Central Intelligence, with The Rock and Kevin Hart. And it's a pretty good comedy movie. Not a great, I wouldn't say a great action movie, but a very good comedy movie. And my wife made the observation about The Rock. She said, boy, this guy's a pretty good actor. And indeed, he is a pretty good actor. Very good comedy movie, like I said, as an action movie. Doesn't compare to the old school movies, but very enjoyable. And then after that, I got a good short workout. Then I went to have wings. We went out to dinner at this place last night, and I had to go back today. $2.99, all you can eat, unlimited chicken wings. So I went back to there. So I'm feeling good, watching a good comedy movie, sending you some positive vibes, and then getting full of those chicken wings. That's good stuff. And let me just check the health of the stream here, make sure you guys are hearing me. Then I went to have wings. Okay, sounds good. I'm going to get to the main topic pretty soon. Last week we had a great stream, but the main topic, I didn't get to talking to it till 36 minutes into the stream, and some people were a bit angry at me over that, and I understand too, but we'll get to it a little sooner. And last week we did have such a good stream about that girl showing up at our place that she was scamming this guy. Her and her sister, they were both hooking up with this dude. That's what he was getting out of it. And they were getting taken care of and also siphoning off money from him, where they would do all these things where he not only did he buy him a house, but they found other ways to get money from him. And a very interesting question was, like, that I was talking to Imabel about this week. Why didn't he just open a bank account, especially with that much money? Why didn't he just open a bank account, put his money in the bank where it would be that safe? And the simple answer to that is, well, he was too lazy. He put himself into a position where he was so dependent on these two girls that he was hooked up with, totally dependent on them to the point where he couldn't do anything himself. He can barely get down the street by himself. Probably, I don't think he even knows how to take a taxi or take a Grab. And he doesn't know anything that's even here, despite living in the Philippines for a year and a half. He doesn't know anything about the Philippines. And he goes around speaking very negatively of Filipino people all the time, talking about how stupid they are, and mainly just how stupid they are and how worthless they are. But that's because in a year and a half, he's only really known two people. Until then, he met me and Imabel, and Imabel's maybe the third Filipino person that he's gotten to know just a little bit. So about that video that I was talking about uploading where she showed up, and I was like, should I upload it and show her face? Should I try and blur the face? And I don't know if it's worth it because that's so much work. But we did upload the video. It's an exclusive on Patreon for all those that are supporting us on Patreon. They can see it right now. There's no blurring of the face. They can get the full stuff. It's a very good video, very informative. It's about 40 minutes long because it kind of tells the whole story. And it's there for everyone that's supporting us. And we'll see if we upload it to this channel. And if I have to blur the face, that would really be worth a lot of hassle. I don't know if it's worth that. I don't really care that much about doing her any favors, because if you see the video, man, she was really giving us a lot of attitude. But then Imabel was pointed out, you got to be so careful these days with the so-called netizens, where they will have a lot of backlash and try and ruin you if you do something they don't like. And after doing this for so long and speaking my mind for so long, certainly I've angered a lot of people. But nothing that bad has happened to me yet. So, and I don't know if that's a good way to go around trying to be a content creator in terms of trying to decide, like, some of my videos that we thought people were going to really hate us and get angry at us for, people really loved them and there was almost no hatred on them whatsoever. Then there's other times I've uploaded a video and I didn't expect any kind of backlash and people lost their minds. So let me just check the comments of everything that's going on here. Okay, we got a lot of comments. I can't get to those right now. They seem a bit repetitive, though. But thank you guys for showing up and commenting. Also, thank you guys, man. You guys, the Adobo Manak gang, has been, and it seems like that's all who's here. You guys have been blowing up my Facebook page with, I've gotten so many new people liking and then sharing my posts. It's truly humbling, and I truly appreciate. Nagpapa salamat ako sa inyo, guys. So thank you guys so much for all the love that you've been sending me, and the Adobong Manak gang is in the house tonight, and I'm very glad to see you guys. And I know you guys, you've been requesting certain things from me, certain types of videos, and I might have to change the content of what I've been doing on this channel, which is going to anger some people that are like the hardcore fans of what I've been doing. But if you guys want to see some stuff, well, I think I might just have to give the people what they want. So thank you guys, though, for showing up. And enough pontificating. I'll get to the main topic now. And it seems like most people in here right now are Filipino people. Just going through the comments, so very cool. Let me ask you guys this. What do you guys think of all the Chinese people coming into the Philippines? Because this is not an issue that I'm particularly vested in myself. I'm more an observer, and I have to warn the viewers, I don't talk about political stuff on this channel. I don't try and push my politics on other people, but this is related to it. Every time I go to on social media, or I even just talking to people, the issue that they're talking about are all the mass migration from China coming in. I'm just reading your comments. Thank you guys. Let me see. Tito Travis, maybe I should just abandon what I had planned for tonight. If you guys want to ask me questions, I see you guys are leaving me comments. Maybe I should just abandon what I've been talking about. I should try and get my son on camera for you guys. I had this whole thing planned out, but I don't think the people that are currently in the room are particularly interested. We have a comment here. Brovoke, Chinese is invading Philippines. But every time I go, I see you guys talking about the Chinese people, the mass migration. And it's kind of interesting for me to see, because a similar thing obviously has happened to my country, and that's been all over in the news. And I think I just want to abandon the topic that I had very well thought out. Someone says they have Pansy Canton. Yeah, I don't know if this topic's going to happen. Like I said, I'm thinking about changing some of the content on this channel, and it might come as a abrupt shock to the people that have been watching what we've been doing. Dale, hey, can you say adobong manok? Well, I have a lot more surprises that I'm trying to make come together. Hopefully we can do that soon. Like I said, I'm now just abandoning the topic, I guess. This is not what I had planned. These live streams normally go so smoothly. Cal Winston says, many Chinese now living and working in the Philippines, not invading. Let me see. Well, the bad thing for me is, and I like to hear what you guys have to say, but like all the Filipinos have been complaining about it, and the LA Times actually had a very interesting article about this recently, which is kind of ironic that it's coming from the LA Times, because they did a video about how mass migration is bad and hurts the native population, which you'd think they would want to be talking about there in Los Angeles, but they'll talk honestly and give their real thoughts about some of this stuff when it's applied to another country. So they had an article about what's bad about mass migration and how the Chinese are coming in large numbers now into the Philippines, and they're coming in for two reasons. One of which is gambling. Gambling's not allowed in mainland China. Someone says I like Kim Chu. I've worked with her. She was my stepdaughter before in a show. like I said, I'm just thinking about Simply Rocco, Peter Rocco. Thank you for joining us. She says, I thought you would be live yesterday. And I was going to, but we went out to dinner at this chicken wings place. All you can eat chicken wings for 229, which is a very good price. So we had a special little date night and dinner, me, my wife, my son Cade. And then after that, we got caught out in the rain for quite a while. So we just couldn't make it back. This live stream is starting to go to heck. No, I've gotten kind of distracted. This is why I normally don't even look at the comments, because I get distracted. But I see that you guys here probably don't care about this topic anyways. So I'm just going to abandon the whole spiel I had and all my thoughts for it. And I guess we can just hang out for a while. And then I'll just delete this stream when it's over. Someone said, how are you with my son? Well, he's here. I think my wife just stepped outside with him while I'm doing this. I'll try and give on camera when he comes back in. Martin Copenhaver says he still plans on going there. I guess he means to the Philippines. Where are you typing from right now? Peter says he cares. No, I feel you, Peter. Like I said, I know like the small group of core hardcore followers and viewers really would want to see us, but we have an influx of a lot of people that are new to the channel, and I think that's what we're seeing, and that's okay. We welcome all the newbies here. I appreciate you guys showing up, and like I said, you guys flooding my Facebook fan page and sharing all my posts. We really appreciate that too. It's funny, I've only had one thing that I've uploaded to Facebook ever go viral until recently. And that was a video I did about a small town in my home state. That was 2 years ago. It went very viral in that area, and it kind of made me a local hero. And then all of a sudden this week, with all you guys new coming in, other people have uploaded some of my videos to Facebook, and those have gone very viral. But there was only one thing that I uploaded myself that went viral. Now I'm uploading photos, and I'm just amazed. All of a sudden they're getting hundreds of shares. I just shared this photo of me the other day. It got 1,500 shares. Someone says, I like your interview with Kamikaze. I actually have 2 videos with the rock band Kamikaze. Yeah, I actually have a whole playlist if you go on my channel, celebrity interviews. I did a lot of musicians and rock bands and stuff like that. So, like I said, I had a very well thought out thing, but I'm just going to abandon the whole premise. C. Lark, lots of Chinese, it says, lots of Chinese in Manila do illegal online casino. I wouldn't know about that, but they have all these big casinos out in Manila, like by Manila Bay. John Russell says, Sana my Adobon Manak merch. Ha ha ha. Well, I have some ideas for some of that, and maybe I'll release some in limited edition first. Let me get my son in here if he's done eating. Is he? Apparently he's not ready. Does he need to comb his hair? His hair's growing out, filling in. He was actually born with hair. We have the birth video here. That was quite an ordeal, his birth, being born at UST Hospital. Joji Miller says, hello, Poke Kuya. Well, hello, Din. So, Imabel, I just abandoned, the topic and all the stuff. This was actually going to be my last stream for a while because I'm considering doing a little bit different type of content. Like I said, just giving you guys what you want to see. Keel Yeet says, hey, Adobon Manuk Gang. Adobon Manuk Gang in the house. We appreciate it. You may try cooking Chinese adobo, sure, or Spanish adobo, or any of the other kinds of adobo out there, I suppose. Maybe my son can cook it with me. What do you guys think about that idea? Because, he wasn't alive when the first one was made. Cal Winston says, if you go to Eastwood in Quezon City at night, you will see only Chinese taking their midnight lunch break from work at the restaurants. Yeah, it's funny, like, the bad thing for me is, and one of the things the article from the LA Times mentioned was how it's driving up the prices of rent so much, and it's making it hard for the native population to live here. And we're going through this right now because we're looking for a new apartment because we need a bigger place with our growing family, of course. And the rent, we've noticed, it's really going up, and we prefer to stay in the same complex here because we really like it. They have a great swimming pool, and I gotta start teaching my son how to swim. But there's all of a sudden there's all these Chinese people living in these complexes, and they're really driving up the rent. Apparently they just opened up a Chinese call center right across the street, so they like them to live here, so everything's right here and they can just cross the street and go there. So Michael Matcha says, so no talk about China now? I had a whole well thought out thing, but maybe I should cancel it. I had a lot of intelligent stuff to say, but if people aren't interested, like I said, I get distracted by the comments, and I can see that the people currently here, the Adobe Manut gang, I don't think they're interested, so I'll have to produce some more content for them in the near future. Peter Rocco says, what do you think about the influx of Chinese coming to the Philippines? I know some people are not happy there. Yeah, it seems like most people are not happy. Every time I go to social media and there's Filipinos that I'm following or on my friends list or what have you, they're talking about it in a very negative way. They hate it. And even talking to people in real life, we went to look at this apartment 2 days ago, and the guy showing it to us, he said he had people that wanted it and for a very good price, but he didn't want to rent it to them because he said they're Chinese. And I said, well, I was just curious, why didn't you want to rent to Chinese people? Is it because they have a reputation of not leaving things like well off when they're done renting from you? And he said the main thing was language. You can't communicate with them. They don't speak English, so it's too hard to deal with. I don't want to deal with that kind of hassle. And he said they also did rent a property before to some Chinese people, and they did kind of mess things up pretty bad, I guess. So it was those two things, mostly the language, though.
You can pick out if you want.
Peter says, wow, I'm surprised. I figured that would be a problem having a Chinese call center for the locals. It's a Chinese call center. I don't really understand. They hire Chinese people, and it's for Chinese speakers. So that's what it is, right? I don't know. Yeah, I believe it's Chinese people that work there taking the calls from other Chinese people calling them. Now, why that's not happening in China, why it has to be put in a foreign country, that I don't understand. Maybe I'm guessing they get tax breaks or something like that would be my guess, but that would just be a guess. Just the random side of YouTube says, haha, it's okay to be distracted by the comments. Yeah, I'm going to have to delete this stream. Normally I keep these pretty tight like a little talk show, but I just decided it's not happening. Let me get the kid here. Let me just try and put the little mic on its little stand here and put that on the laptop. Someone says, hey Travis, can I subscribe to you? You can subscribe, but would actually be better in a way is just go through my old videos, go through my library that's already here, and watch those. You'd probably find a lot of stuff that you like. So there's hundreds of videos here. You're bound to find something you like, man. Okay, let's get the kid on here. Hey there. He's taking a break from his busy schedule of eating. There they are, Cade. Look into the camera. He's looking at his mom off camera. Let me pull this down just a little. Look into the camera. Say hi. Say hi, guys. Hi, guys. This guy, Cade, my son Cade, he's a little lady killer every time we go out. Especially women are fascinated. Even a lot of men And sometimes this is an issue for Imabel, more so than me. I'm just happy and excited that someone's taking an interest in my kid and giving him positive attention. But like sometimes Imabel doesn't like if people coming up trying to touch him because she's worried about germs and just the health of the kid. And people are trying to take pictures of him even when we go out and like spy cam or trying to discreetly take photos. She caught some people the other night doing that, and she was trying to kind of cover them. So it's a little funny, and it's funny too when Imabel goes out with him alone. People tell her, "Oh, your kid looks like a foreigner." So many people say, which is a compliment, is how they mean it. We understand. So this is the guy. This is what my life has become about. And let me go back to your comments here. John Carl says, haha, Manak is top notch. You know it, buddy. Let me see. We hope, Joe the Simple says, we hope some Chinese will work on legal pay. Let me see. Pinoy Stranger says, what a cutie. Oh, say thank you, Cade. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's so nice just to hold this guy and hug him. Let me see. Just the random side of YouTube says, he is so adorable. John Russell says, Tito Travis, teach your son how to cook adobo manak. Well, he's going to inherit the recipe. Is that a family recipe, Cade? Peter Rocco says, when he's grown up, he will have girls look at him like in your GIF. Oh yeah, if you haven't seen, you can see it on my community tab. Just go on my channel later and click the community tab, and you'll know what he's talking about. Let me scroll back and look at. Like I said, I'm probably just gonna delete this stream. I just decided to abandon everything. I have these. Whoop. Say hi, Cade. It's just your microphone. Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk? You just want to hang out and relax? Okay. Let's go back through the comments here. Martin Copenhaver says, you're from Bismarck ND? I was there in the late 80s. What were you doing there in the late 80s? Let me just check. Say hi, Cade. Say hi. This is his third live stream that he's joining Daddy for, but I might not be doing these for a while. I might just have to try and focus on other things. I gave up my topic, Imabel. What would be a nice thing to talk about now? I gave up everything I was going to talk about earlier. Did you guys see our video from our vlog from 2 years ago when we were in China? That's one of my best vlogs, actually. I'm just reading your guys's. Can you make some Bicol Express? Hey, I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to ideas, my friend. Peter says, Travis, I'm hoping to be in Manila in October. Yeah, you know how to get a hold of us, Peter. We have a history here with him, with Peter Rocco. So we have Beliza. Edwin says, Travis, Edwin here in Houston, Texas. Good night. Well, howdy, or however they greet people in Texas. I've only been to Texas once, and it was very brief, only a couple days. Cheap Charlie says, what happened with the two sister, the ones that did the bad thing to the geezer? Well, the guy's 50 years old. I don't know if that's considered a geezer, but we uploaded the video on my Patreon for people that support us there. I'm not sure if I'll be uploading it to this channel or not, either with a blurred face or without. But we uploaded the video. It's about 40 minutes long, very informative, tells the whole story. I don't really know what those people are currently doing at the moment because they won't talk to us. Let me just check the volume on this. Talk about political stuff. Oh, did it go back? Okay. 40 minutes long. Well, let me get back to that. Yeah, they won't talk to us anymore. The guy's very angry at us. I don't know if that's... I kind of wonder if that's maybe because he has sleep deprivation, because he's staying in the squatters area and he has nowhere to sleep, but he has to lay directly on the concrete. So I know he can't sleep very well, and that's how they break people. Sleep deprivation. If they can keep you from being able to sleep, they can get you to go along with anything. A human can't take it. But apparently the guy is angry at us, and we have no idea why, because what does he have to be angry at us about? We tried to help the guy out by taking his stuff in, even though we don't have room. We don't even have room for all our stuff here, really. But then he got angry at us, when really he's just angry at the situation with that he put himself in. Let me check the comments. Freelancers Union of the North says, I remember driving near Bismarck a long time ago and seeing a house on the interstate that the flood had moved there. Yuna Itzy says, can we expect more cooking videos? Well, I don't want to give away all my surprises. Just stay tuned. But I'm going to try to give people what they want to see. I'll just leave it at that. I'll try and give people what they want to see. Peter Rocco says, better he is not in your lives. I was actually just saying that to Imabel. I was saying that I don't miss the guy, especially all his negativity, and just has nothing nice to say. And I try and be sympathetic, and I try and be a blessing to him. But, you know, some people, once they get in, and if they have a very negative mindset, and he talks about how the Philippines has been no good to him, and he hasn't had any fun since he's been in the Philippines. It's like, well, then why don't you just leave? His plan was to go to the Philippines with like $100,000 as life savings, and then he was going to have a good time until the money ran out, and whenever the money ran out, he was just going to commit suicide. Because his philosophy was he wanted to commit suicide. He feels he doesn't really want to live any longer, but it's like, well, I have a life savings, I have a little bit of money, so I might as well just go have fun for a while before I end it. That's what he told us. But then these girls, he says, wouldn't let him commit suicide. And it's like, well, obviously, because they want to get everything they can out of him. You know, they don't want their golden goose to die, but I'm sure now that he has nothing.
The girlfriend actually said she was thinking he shouldn't go back to America. He even contacted emailed the mom.
I guess one of the girlfriends was just saying he should go back to America, which he should because it's what's best for him. But also, I mean, he can't really provide her with anything at this point, you know, unless she's growing somewhat, you know, used to his companionship, I suppose. But yeah, definitely he should just go back to America. Black Walt says he isn't having fun because he is trying to do the wrong things with the wrong people. Yeah, like I said, he had these two girls living with him, both sisters that he's hooked up with. And obviously there's going to be all kinds of complications with that. The older one was getting jealous of the younger one. I mean, can you imagine? Also, it kind of shows you the character if people are willing to do that, not only just with another girl, but your own sister. You're willing to physically share a man like that. It's pretty crazy. Let me see here. Peter Rocco says, I used to be such a negative person. Since I changed my way of thinking, my life has been so much better. Yeah, that's a big part of it. I mean, you're thinking, everything you think is going to dictate what goes on in your life. And it's not just what happens in life, it's how you perceive it. Cheap Charlie says that fellow should just go to the Canadian embassy and get a ticket home. I recall the U.S. embassy gave this disabled fellow a ticket last year. Well, this we told him to go to the embassy, and I guess he looked into it, but he says, well, then you're kind of in debt to the government. They take away your passport. You're almost somewhat like a criminal. I don't recall all the terms of the deal, but he said it's very bad. It's the last thing you would want to do. And he said if he had to, he could get money from his family, borrow that, and then just work and pay it back, which would be the best option. But this guy's not a Canadian. He's from Tennessee. So, and I know he's not watching, not only because he doesn't have internet and stuff. It's kind of weird because like the way I met him was he's like, hey, I watch your videos, I really like them, and then we kind of befriended him, but he wasn't watching any of my videos before his internet was cut off, or I guess he just didn't have an interest. That's another reason I kind of don't mind uploading the video in a way. It's like, well, they're not going to see it. He doesn't really care that much about me or what I do, my content, even if he once enjoyed it for a while. But he said my videos really helped him before coming here, but apparently not enough. But that's because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. It's just like my book that's for sale. It answers a lot of the questions people have, but ultimately they're going to have to do it themselves. And some people, that's not what they want to hear. So, someone says he really needs help, this fellow. Yeah, but that's what kind of help does he need? That's the question. Because you can give him the best advice. You can, I'm sure if we would have given him money, I don't know if he was hinting at money for a few times, which I'm not going to do. A guy that blows through $100,000 in a year and a half, I don't have much sympathy, and I have a family here myself. I got diapers to buy, for crying out loud. I got diapers, and I have to go buy those buffalo wings for 299 pesos, the all you can eat. He's playing with the wire here. Just don't disconnect me, buddy. But you can see he's quite calm here on my lap. I think he might be getting sleepy. Someone says, how did he meet the sisters online? Yeah, he met these girls online because he didn't want to come here without knowing anyone, and he wanted someone to show him around.
Just the one sister first.
I guess he met the one sister first online, and then he found out she had a sister, and then he worked his way into.
The sister made the younger sister live with them.
I don't know the exact story, but he ended up hooking up with both of them in a physical sense, if you know what I'm saying.
The older sister goes to work, the younger sister stays and do household chores.
Yeah, it was just online. But, if he would have he could have just even contacted me and Imabel and said, I don't know anyone there. I'll pay you guys a fee. You help me find a place to live. We could have just hired us as a service, because Imabel, she does tours of the Philippines, and it's not a problem to help people that are coming here, help get them settled in, teaching them how to take rides, how to do stuff, whether it's take the train, get a grab, get a taxi, how to work their way through the city, how all the little nuances of transactions here work. Even just some basic, very basic stuff that you need to know. Basic phrases, from getting around, all the logistics of everything, getting a place to live. That's one of the hardest parts for most people, is just finding an apartment that they're going to want to live. And the way he found this place was he asked the girl, where would you like to live? And she chose this place because it's pretty nice. And they were living in a nice 2-bedroom. Then they had to move to a smaller 2-bedroom. Then eventually he was living in a 1-bedroom that he couldn't keep paying for. And then since he couldn't keep paying for it, they had to get him out of there. And then that's when he was like the day of. He tells me a few hours before he's going to leave. Like, hey, I have to leave today. Can you do me a favor? Can I put a suitcase in your place? And then he was like, he didn't even say goodbye before leaving. He gave us all this stuff and he said, whatever you can't. And he said, whatever. He's like, this is my suitcase. And he had 2 boxes of stuff he wanted to keep. And then he said, anything else, since I can't take it, you and Imabel can have it. And anything that you don't want, just give it to the bellboy and it's his. And then after that, he kept trying to get stuff that he already gave away, like to the bellboy. He gave away he wanted us to store his mattress. He had a big mattress. And I said, well, that's just not possible right now. We can't put that in our place. We don't have the space. So he had no choice, basically, because there's nothing he could do. He gave it to the bellboy of the building, and he ended up, I think, selling it to some other people that worked in the building. Then he was trying to get it back from him. Like, that guy had a lot of stuff, the bellboy. He took quite a bit of stuff because he said, look, anything that you're not storing for me, you and Imabel can have, and whatever you don't want, give it to the bellboy so he can at least use it, because I just can't take it. So he gave a lot of stuff away. And then it's funny, this girl shows up at our place, one of his girlfriends, the one that wasn't even there when he had to move because she abandoned him. And we were asking where she was. She says she won't pick up her phone. Oh, my son is falling asleep here. Cade is sleeping. That's okay, buddy. You just stay comfortable there. But you want to take him? I think he's okay here, is he not? Okay, I think he's holding the cord though still while he's asleep. He's waking up. Time for bed, buddy. Yeah. And I'm getting a call from one of my relatives at the same time.
Let go of the microphone, Katie. It's time for bed.
He's okay. Let me. Craig is calling. One of my relatives is just calling, so I don't know if you hear that noise. There you go, son.
You don't want to go yet? You don't want to sleep yet?
Okay, I'm back. So we got Robert Ricker in the room. I'm just waiting for my relative to quit calling. Robert Rickert says, did he work for U.S. government in Indian affairs? No, he did not. So if you think you know someone, it's not that guy. He was kind of retired from what he did. He was, I think, 49 or 48 when he came here. He just turned 50 recently, this guy. But, man, this guy, I mean, I've wanted to talk about this guy for so long, but out of respect, I didn't do it because, I mean, I don't want to share someone's private business, especially someone that's supposed to be a friend of ours. But, man, this guy was in a mess of a situation. But he put himself in it, basically just, and I can see, too, if his original plan was to come and have like fun and have a blowout. I can see too where it's like where these girls are like he would buy him a house. I can't remember how much he said he paid for their house. It was either $10,000 or it was like $25,000, but it was several thousand. Even if you have $100,000 that you start out with, well, that takes a big chunk of it right there. But still, in a year and a half. I mean, and the other big thing was when the girl claimed she got robbed, where she was going to start this loan business, and she took a jeepney. Like there's two different stories. There's the story he told me, and the girl told Imabel a separate story. But they also hired her brother to go with her. She was carrying $10,000 in cash. And then she got robbed, I think, by ice pick. That's the story she gave him. if you have a brain in your head, you understand that that whole thing didn't happen. That was just a flat out lie. But this guy, it's funny too. He said I hired her brother. She sent her brother home, who was supposed to be the bodyguard while she was carrying this money. And it's like, geez, why would you? Even if the brother was there, why didn't you go with her yourself? That's a lot of money. But he's so lazy about everything. He's just so unbelievably lazy when it comes to any little thing. But because of that, because he figures I have these girls that do all the little things if something needs to be done, he put himself in a situation where he's essentially helpless. Let me see. Robert said, I see what you said. Because he gives stuff and wants it back. Yeah, the term for that is an Indian giver. And I believe that originates because the United States government, most people think it's racist, they say, and they think it has something to do with you're insulting Indians, but I believe the actual meaning of that is the U.S. government made a lot of treaties and a lot of promises to the Indians, and then they went back on the deal and took it away. So an Indian giver is someone that gives something and then wants it back. They want to take it back. William Jr. Rosmarino Malapit Na. Just stay tuned. Let me scroll back to see some of these comments that I've been doing. So since I pretty much abandoned the topic that I had all planned and everything that I did want to talk about, what the heck do you guys want to talk about? I'm here for you. Like I said, I might not be doing these for a while. Or maybe I'll have a separate channel that I stream on. But if I do that too, I might talk about things that my core audience doesn't like either. So it's hard to keep everyone happy. But maybe I should just go and end this one early since I abandoned all the topics I was going to speak of. And then I'll delete this stream. I won't leave it up permanently. So thank you guys for joining, even though this stream kind of went to heck. And it wasn't organized at all, even though I had something planned out. Let me just check the... Maybe I should just go and end this one early since I abandoned all the topics I was going to speak of. And then I'll delete this stream. I won't leave it up permanently. So thank you guys for joining, even though this stream kind of went to heck. And it wasn't organized when I had something. Before I go, Peter Rocco has a question. And this is a good question, Peter. It's funny, well, before I answer Peter's question, Donald Russell says, "Hello, Travis from Vancouver, Canada." That really relates to the subject that I was going to talk about. But Peter Rocco says, "I have a question. What is your opinion of living there? Has it changed?" Well, that's a good question, but it's a very big question because it's so general. What's my opinion? Well, it's kind of hard to say because, like I said, that's such a broad question. I've enjoyed my time here. I don't know how much longer I'll be here, but I enjoyed my time here. But in life, there's a time for everything. There's a time to enjoy yourself, and you got to enjoy life. That's what life is about. It's about having fun. But of course, there's other times when you have to knuckle down and take care of your priorities. Especially now being a father, my life has changed so much, and all my priorities have suddenly changed, and everything I think about has suddenly changed. So I'm not the same person. Not only am I older than when I came here originally, just having a kid is the main thing. That's what is most important to me in life, as it should be, really. Robert Ricker says, maybe you and Owen Benjamin can do a video together. I'd be open to it. I don't really know what he would think of me. I watch some of his stuff, especially mainly the highlights, because I don't have time to watch long streams most of the time. I only started watching him a little bit very recently. I've said some other things like publicly before, not on this channel, uh, about him and stuff, and people think I'm this follower, and I'm like, I get all my ideas and opinions from. First of all, everything he says, pretty much, it's been said before, and I'm not saying that as an insult against him, but I believed these things a lot, and I only started watching him maybe 2 months ago, I think. I tried to watch one of his streams before when he was into drinking, and I thought he was a mess, just a drunken guy live streaming on YouTube. It's like, who wants to watch that? But then somehow I started watching his streams a couple months ago, like after he had already quit drinking, and I was like, well, this guy says a lot of good stuff. So I definitely don't agree with him on everything, but I think he says a lot of good stuff, and I like that he's turned on some of his buddies that I've been talking about, those guys, some of his buddies, about how they're not genuine and they don't really care about you. They only care about themselves. Those guys like Steven Crowder I've talked about. And Steven Crowder, he's actually a guy that, now you're going to get me off on a whole other topic, but Steven Crowder is a guy that I actually like a lot of the content he does, and for the most part I pretty much like him. But I wouldn't trust that guy. That guy's not trying to be some kind of truth teller, and he certainly doesn't care about his audience. He certainly doesn't care about them. He cares about what's best for him. So you got to understand, Steven Crowder's like Fox News. Fox News has good content. They have some entertaining shows, but do I believe that corporate media cares about me? Not at all. And even though Steven Crowder's not corporate media, he's still a smaller, much larger than me, but a smaller creator compared to some large corporation. Ultimately, I know he doesn't care about his audience, and I was very turned off by the way he spoke of those Catholic boys that were all over the media after the one smirked at that Indian fellow. That guy who was an obvious fraud too, and I called it before the media. I called it before other people were. The second I saw that Indian guy, when they were calling him a Vietnam veteran, I said, there's no way this guy served in Vietnam. Absolutely no way. And then a former Navy SEAL got his records, his military records, and exposed him. And then the media, some of them actually had to do retractions. I think some of them didn't even bother with the retractions. It should have been obvious to everyone with an IQ above 100 that there's no way that guy served in Vietnam. He was just trying to milk the situation and it was all a way to paint the story, to paint a narrative that, oh, these racist little white boys, they're harassing a Native American senior citizen. Give me a break. I mean, it was so obvious the second I laid eyes on that guy that he had not been to Vietnam. And of course, I was right, as I usually am on these things. Robert Ricker says Don Shipley, I think that's the Navy SEAL guy that I mentioned, called him out and then he got deplatformed. Yeah, I heard that too, and I heard a lot of it was really because they were angry that they exposed his military records publicly. Troll Not says there used to be Rajas in Philippines from India. I worked with one of those Rajas, Venus Raj. That was quite a while ago now. There's actually a behind the scenes video on this channel, which I'm sure you could do a simple search and then find the video. It was on a TV show. It was a game show. I did a skit, me and Venus Raj, and the show was hosted by Michael V and Ogiel Cassid. Right, Imabel?
Which one?
The show that I was on Venus Raj with, it was a game show. Ogie and Michael V were the hosts. And I did a skit on that. But that was quite a while ago now. Danny B says, louder with Crowder. All politics leads to cash flow. Yeah, because it can get a lot of clicks. When I don't like to really talk about that kind of stuff. But it's a surefire way to get clicks, because anytime people get angry, if you can do something that makes people feel the emotion of anger, it's scientifically proven they're more likely to click on it and also more likely to share it. So of course those guys are going to about that show. Ajavine says that's Bubble Gang, bro. No, that's not Bubble Gang. I was also on Bubble Gang with Michael V as well as Papito Manalato, and those are all clips from those are also on YouTube of me on Bubble Gang and Papito Manalato. The show that I was on with Venus Raj, where I did a skit that was hosted by Michael V and Ogie. I forget the name of it. It was some game show where people are in a swimming pool. And they, like, Ogie, I think the thing was Ogie pushed me into the pool or something in the skit. I can't remember. They wear these silver bodysuits. What is the name? I think they had an American version. I think it's originally a Japanese game show. I can't remember. I believe it's originally a Japanese game show. Then it got made in a lot of other countries. I think there was an American version, but they had a Filipino version too. And it's something about, it's a game show that I guess takes place in a swimming pool. Whatever that would be. Like I said, it's based off a Japanese game show. Donald Russell says, I too was a wrestler in middle school. My wrestling weight was 176. Very cool, fellow wrestler. I sure spent a lot of my life wrestling. Ajavine says, I remember that. Wait a second. Yeah, I can't remember. Like, it's kind of bothering me now. It was a pretty big game show. Like I said, it was it's one of those weird ones that's from Japan. Then, for whatever reason, if someone knows the name of that game, I'm sure it's in the video on my channel. Someone can search for it if they just search Travis Kraft and Venus Raj. So, my wife Immabelle's in the other room. She can't remember it either. So, Immabelle's checking. Before we go, she can check that out. Let me check the Travis Kraft and Venus Raj. Someone's going to find this. Will they find it before Immabelle finds it? How's this mic working for you guys? I got this recently. A relative bought this for me, which you should see in one of my upcoming videos. You got the name of the show yet, Immabelle? Denny B says, how's the family doing? Well, my little family here that we have in this apartment, they're doing really well. Thank you for asking. My mom and dad, of course, my mom was recently hit by a pickup truck in the street. So, and I talked about that in another video. So she has some recovery to do still, but I think things are going about as good could be. Mark Plantado says hole in the wall. I think that's it. That's it, Immabelle says. Yeah, it's called, the game show is called Hole in the Wall. I did a comedy skit for that. I don't remember that much what we did. We have some behind the scenes footage.
That's hole in the wall, that's correct.
Hole in the wall. Yeah, and I think in the skit, Ogie pushes me in the pool, something like that.
Who said it?
Mark Plantado got the name of the show. He guessed hole in the wall, and that apparently is it. So, since I didn't really cover all the topics I wanted to do in this one, just this stream became very informal. I'm going to have to end it soon and probably end up deleting this soon. Let me see. Peter Rocco says, Travis, I don't know if this is a personal question or not. Well, we'll talk about that when you come here. Chris says, hi. Chris says, how are you? Kamusta ka? Mabuti. Thank you for asking. Denny B says, well, speedy recovery wishes for the mom. Mike sounds pretty good. Good on you and your new fam there. So, yeah, thank my relative for getting me this mic. Like I said, you should see him soon in an upcoming video, I'm hoping. So I think I'm going to head out here. If anyone has anything final to say in the last couple minutes, I have a hard cover copy of my book. I don't know if you can see it because this is so low res. That blue one right there. So if you see that blue one next to the Jay Leno one in the middle, that blue one, but we have that for sale on Amazon. And for people that want to move here, man, that can save you a lot of money. That guy that got scammed by those two sisters, boy, that could have, if he would have just dropped $10 on the book, how many thousands of dollars could he have potentially saved? But like I said, you can always lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Some people, they always want to do things their way. They don't want to do things God's way. They want, how many people in this world, they don't want to try and live their life according to God's plan and do things God's way. Not that I'm saying I'm God, but the God. But they, like so many of us at times, were like, man, I want to do it my way. This is what's best. I think this is what's best. So Peter Rocco says, I bought the ebook a few years ago on Amazon. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, my friend. Are you planning on moving to the Philippines? I think it's a pretty good book, at least, especially like the second chapter, as simple as it is, and as quick of a read as it is. I think even if you're not that interested in moving to the Philippines, if you just read it, you can gain a lot from it in your personal life. Especially, I think it's chapter 2, where we have the exercises, because it helps you get your priorities in life right. So, a few people say, do you know Paul? Yes. Not personally. I haven't met him yet in person. But maybe stay tuned for that. You can say hi to him on his channel from me. Tell him I said hi in my live stream to him. Denny B says, peace man, thanks for the live stream. Let me see. I'm just looking at the last. Black Walt says, Travis, I think your book was pretty good. I'd be interested in a second, more robust book. Freelancers Union of the North says, what is the title of your book? Let me try and grab it here for you and put it on camera. Like I said, this is a nice... Can you hear that? We got a hard copy version here, but we made these in a limited run. The title is 12 Easy Steps to Move to Philippines and Really Get What You Want Out of Life. And really, isn't that last part what's most important? Because why do you want to move to the Philippines? It's because you want to get what you want out of life. And when do you want to get it? You want to get it now or in the near future. That's what you want. So really, I mean, moving to the Philippines, that's just... in a way, that's one part of the equation, because so many people, they say, I want to move to the Philippines. Well, why? And one thing that I've always found, and I've been talking about this for many years, in fact, I have a video on this channel, why you should not move to the Philippines. Because one thing since I moved to the Philippines is, people, they've been telling me, I want to move to the Philippines, and then when I ask them, why do you want to move? Often they tell me some kind of reason that in a way almost has nothing to do with the Philippines. I'm like, well, you could have that in whatever country you're from, probably. And it'd probably be a lot easier to do that than moving to a foreign country to do that. So that's one of the things that amazed me when I moved to the Philippines. I started getting all these questions about it, and how can I do that? So I literally have a guidebook for you. And part of what's so great about it, someone asked for a more robust book. One of the things I had in mind, because I have a whole stack of books there, a lot of them I never made it through, even though they're good books. If you make one too big, it's too daunting, and people pick it up, they read a few pages, and then they never finish the rest because it's too daunting. I want to give people quick, easy to understand information in as simple of a way as possible, and I think that met my goal. I met my goal with that because I didn't want any filler like most books have. If you've ever read that book, The 4-Hour Work Week, very famous book, I got a copy of it somehow. I don't remember how. I didn't pay for it, but I did the whole thing. And I have to say, the first probably 50, and it's a thick book. The first 50% of that book is this guy basically talking about how great he is and trying to romanticize things like lying in a hammock in Thailand on the beach, sipping from a coconut. Well, I've done stuff like that, and it's not as great as you think. So I wanted to cut out all the bull crap, all the nonsense of just, because this is a book. As much as people think I'm narcissistic, this is not a book about myself. It's about you, because I want to serve you with this book and your needs. And I didn't want to be like 4 Hour Work Week. That's a very robust book, but it doesn't really, the parts of value in the book, if you would just limit it down to what's valuable in the book, you'd probably have less than 10 pages. That book, the 4 Hour Work Week, probably less than 10 pages in that entire book, the 4 Hour Work Week, are actually of value and useful. So that was kind of an influence on me in the way that I did not want my book to be like that and to just be a bunch of filler. And I think most people don't actually, probably the majority of people that buy books like that, they never read them, they never finish them. They never actually get any value out of it. So before I go, let me check the other comments. Black Walt says, do you plan on doing any other informative books in the future? Well, Imabel has been telling me I should write a book about something a little bit different. It's something we're kind of in the early stages of talking about right now. Let me scroll down. Darren C says we need a crossover with Paul. Just wait and see. I mean, we don't have anything planned at the moment, but anything's possible, my friend. Like I said, say hi to him when you watch his videos. Tell him Travis says hi on his live stream. When let me see here. Budoy Gaming says, can you please say good luck to me for my test in my school tomorrow? Well, just I hope you did your studying, because that's most important. Even if you just look over your notes 5-10 minutes right before you take the test, that'll be a big help. And then just say a prayer. And as long as you did your part, I think things will work out. Let me see. Black Walt says your book is honest, blunt, and to the point. Thank you very much. Peter Rocco says, I decided to stay here in the U.S. till ready for retirement, then move there. That's probably the best thing to do. That's what's best for the majority of people. It's not what's best for everyone, but that's what's best for the majority of people, definitely. Though there's this one guy, somehow, I guess he sent me a friend request on Facebook or where, I don't know. So I see his posts. This is a guy from the Midwest. He's an older guy, I think, late 50s. And all he does is complain about life, complain about his job, and how he wants to move to the Philippines. And it's like, well, my God, why aren't you doing it? And, because all he does is complain. Another guy, very negative guy. And definitely, if you're negative in the United States, life isn't going to get better when you move to the Philippines. It might for a little while, but eventually, after some of the newness and adventure wears off, you're just going to revert to being like that, complaining about everything, being upset about everything. So this guy, and it's like, apparently and I'm like, well, here's my book I left him. I think this would really help you. And he said, I don't got, that kind of money, $10. He said, maybe if it was $5. And it's like, well, then I can't help you. If you don't have $10, which is probably going to save you potentially thousands, because you might... One of the goals of this book is to keep you from making the really big mistakes, the ones that cost you a lot of money, cost you a lot of time, cause you a lot of heartbreak. And I want, you can avoid that stuff. Like I said, this other guy, man, maybe he would have not wasted thousands and thousands of dollars if he would have just spent $10, read the book. But I can't have any sympathy for someone that won't help themselves like that. And if you don't have $10 to spend on a book before doing something like this, then if it's about the money of the $10, if it's just too much for you, well, if you don't have $10, you don't have $10 to. It's not a good idea to move to another country, because things are going to cost you. There's always hidden costs and fees in life. And before I moved to Los Angeles, I bought a book for I think $25. But man, it really helped me out. I mean, that's a book that saved me really thousands of dollars worth of probably money and hassle and heartbreak. That book, that $25 book I bought before moving to LA. Gerald Kapalan says, Travis, are you in the Philippines? You are a good influencer to us Pinoys. Love, Adobin Mandak. More love to your family. Well, thank you very much. Here we had a good question. Illuminix Gaming says, hey, Idol Travis, what motivates you to help people? Well, here's a concept in life, and it's not always true, but it probably is for the most time, and just think about it. But here's a concept for you. If you help people get what you want in life, you're probably going to get what you want in life. So if there's no bigger I can't think of what bigger motivator than that. But you got to help people get what they want. And you have to do it authentically, and you can't just be focused, I think, too much about the end result. So keep that in mind. That's a concept for you. If you help people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. Donald Russell says, why is there so much drama with the expats in the Philippines? I'm not sure. I'm not sure there is. I'm guessing you're referring to that guy that I was talking about that lived in my building that had to leave because he couldn't pay his rent anymore and he just ran out of money. I don't know. And like I said, that guy, he's angry at me. That's what his girlfriend said, just because he sent us this text message saying, just keep my stuff. I give up. I don't want it. And we said, what? Meaning what? Can you clarify what you said? And apparently us saying, well, I told Imabel to message that back to him. And apparently he got really angry about it. This is what she said. He wouldn't text us back after that. And I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why he would be so offended. We were just asking for clarity. Let me see. Ajavine, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. He said, choose Travis Kraft for president. Well, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I'd ever want to be president of any country. That's a lot of responsibility, and half the people are probably going to hate you no matter what you do. Maybe I could just be like an advisor to a president or some kind of leader. I don't really want to be a politician myself. There's just so much negativity and hatred, and man, that's a dirty business. Like I said, if you're a president, no matter what you do, half the people are probably going to get angry at you for it. Let me see here. A Liquid MC says, yo, subscribe to Travis. You know what I'm saying? I know what you're saying, bro. Peter Rocco says there's drama because people go there to live and do it without researching and not having the proper mindset or preparedness. Absolutely. Just a lot of negative people in this world. And I think the one thing I've noticed is a lot of negative people do tend to move here or whatever because they think that it's going to change them, but it's not going to change what's inside of you. It's not going to change your thinking. If you're not a happy person, you're probably not going to be a happy person no matter where you are in the world. And I'm always trying to tell people that it starts with your mindset. If you're just a negative person that complains about everything, when there's certainly a heck of a lot to complain about in the Philippines, you'll have no problem finding things to complain about. But if you're that type of person, anywhere in the world you go, it's like, what are you going to see? Are you going to see what you like? And also, happiness is a choice. That's one of the things that I can't stress enough to people is You have to consciously make an effort to be happy. And no, you can't be happy all the time. Sometimes you have to be stuck in a job that you don't particularly like, and you have to just try and make the most of it. You know, we do have stressful situations in life, and we all have our own problems and stuff, but it's all about what you're going to focus on. Whatever you focus on in life, you get more of. And think about that as a concept. What you focus on in life, you get more of. Whether it's focusing, if you focus on money, you're probably going to get more money. If you focus on your lack of money, you're going to get less money. If you focus on having a good body, you're probably going to get in better shape through workout and diet. If you focus on your academics, you're going to get better test scores. Robert Ricker says, Jesse Peterson says, angry people need to forgive their mother and build a relationship with their dad. Yeah, he's the black guy, right? At first I was thinking of Jordan Peterson, who I'm not particularly a big fan of, even though he probably 90% of the stuff he says I don't watch him, but probably about Jordan Peterson, not this other guy. Probably 90% of the things Jordan Peterson says I agree with, but that's how he designs it. He says very basic things that he knows most people are going to agree with. And ultimately, that's another guy, too, he doesn't care about. He doesn't care anything about the people that can give him money through Patreon or buy his books or support him. He could care less about those people. He's in it for himself, which is not necessarily bad, but this guy's not some kind of father figure. All this guy cares about himself. If one of his followers somehow was falsely accused of something, even if he knew they were falsely accused, he wouldn't put his neck out for that guy. He doesn't care. He wouldn't put his neck out for them unless he thought the majority of people would agree with him. Before I go, let's see here. So Mr. Jimmy says, almost Chinese owned a business here where he lives. Why do they keep coming to the Philippines? The things are going, so it's a little hard to read. Pinoy Stranger says, I hate to say this, but can you say, Ang sarap sarap? Well, there you go. I just did. So I think I'm going to end it here. But good discussion, even though I threw out all the topics, including the main one. Where he lives. Why do they keep coming to the Philippines? So, good talk tonight, guys. Thanks. I'll probably delete this in the next day or so. And I'm going to go call my mom and dad, Skype with my mom, which is our nightly routine. This is the designated night for that of the week. So I'll go Skype my mom and dad, say hello to them. And you guys can go check out my other videos. There's a lot on this channel that you haven't seen. Pinoy Stranger says, Maraming salamat, bro. Maraming salamat din. Okay. Good night, guys. I'm off to... It's the designated night for that of the week. So I'll go Skype my mom and dad, say hello to them. And you guys can go check out my other videos. There's a lot on this channel that you haven't seen. Pinoy Stranger says, Maraming salamat, bro. Maraming salamat din. Okay. Good night, guys.